Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that is living in a world where Jinder Mahal is the number one contender for the WWE Championship. It's Lost in the Midcard. Welcome to this week's episode. We've got lots of stuff to talk about, some headlines, and some interesting developments in the world of the WWE. We'll get to all that here, but first, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. All you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard, hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, typically every Thursday and most Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and the links to all those are on our Facebook page at facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. We are also on that Twitter at LITMC Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers, and my co-host, as always, he is on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing today?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
You don't want to hinder the Jinder?
Fuck Jinder Mahal.
Oh,
dude, I don't even fucking care. The fact that a man who hasn't won a televised match since September of last year on Raw is the number one contender for the WWE Championship is everything that's wrong with the creative team of that company right now.
It was weird. I mean, you got the six guys in the match, and you figured Mojo Rawley would win more than Jinder Mahal. I don't know.
They could have, honest to God, they could have put anybody in there over Mahal, and it would have been passable.
Oh man, that was weird. We'll talk about
the whole lineup of the match didn't even make sense anyway.
No,
when you're doing a contendership match for the WWE Championship and Baron Corbin and Nakamura aren't in there, the whole thing didn't make sense from the get go.
Yeah,
so
I don't know
the result made even less sense.
Yeah, I don't know who thought of that lineup. But I know
that's why they're giving Chicago Takeover, because they know they were shit in the bed with Backlash.
Well, I know what WWE will say. Oh, this is the land of opportunity. You got a jobber now going for the title. That's opportunity, Matt. That's opportunity.
My ass.
Oh my God. And joining us for the second time on this show, he is on the Twitter at NoOneLikeD. It is Darryl. Darryl, welcome back. How you doing, man?
I am fantastic. I had my dose of brawn for the week.
Is that guy not a superstar now, or what?
Yes, and I saw his T-shirt today. I want it.
WWEshop.com plug. I have not seen his T-shirt yet. There it is. Interesting. That's a very interesting face there on that shirt.
He just ordered 20 of them.
I did. I want the new Hardy shirt, man.
I'm waiting for the broken merch to come out before I buy a Hardy shirt.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it, but before they said that about the revival, the injury, what Scott Dawson put on Instagram, a Monday Night Revival T-shirt.
Yeah,
and I'm just waiting for it to hit the shop.
Yeah, might have to wait till July there, as unfortunately it has come down that Dash Wilder has suffered a broken jaw. He will be out, I believe, 8 weeks. They say around July, so probably expect maybe a Revival Tag Team Championship win at SummerSlam, Matt. You think that's probably...
Well, at least I would at least say they should be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Unless they just get looked over due to the injury, which has happened in this company before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just there's nothing worse in pro wrestling than an untimely injury.
Yeah. And obviously this isn't like an injury-prone type of deal. This is just a broken jaw, just kind of a freak accident. Dash had his jaw wired shut this Friday. this past Friday, and they say that he'll be out for about 8 weeks. So get well soon, Dash. Hopefully we'll see those guys here before we know it. Renee Young, we talked about this last week. We recorded our show early last week, and so we recorded right after Talking Smack when KO made a very interesting comment to Renee Young, and she got all giddy. But yeah, it is true. Renee Young and Dean Ambrose did get married or about a little over a week ago in Las Vegas. So congrats to Renee and Dean. That whole beginning of Talking Smack last week was kind of awkward there, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it was what it was. Talking Smack tends to be awkward from time to time. So
it's great that we get Kevin Owens on Talking Smack, except this week.
Yeah, if he would have been on, I would have tuned in. Like, there would have been nothing that would have stopped me from tuning in last night. I mean, even without Brian, I would have tuned in for Owens, but I was just like, I'm not tuning in for this lineup. It just doesn't interest me. And Brian goes out of his way to make the segments and stuff interesting, even when they're guests that I'm not necessarily interested in. But Shane, he's just not very good at that show. So, no offense, Shane. It's just the way it is, pal.
Come on, Matt. Jinder made the show.
You know what? I refuse to believe that.
I
didn't see it, but I'm going to refuse to believe that Jinder made anything.
He made a PED shake for breakfast, I think.
God.
Jesus.
He looks great. He can pass our test. Push his ass to the moon, Hunter.
What tests?
We're going to sign him as a part-timer, and we don't have to test him. I'm hilarious.
Yeah, you are, Vince. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Sad news in the wrestling world, as it was reported yesterday that former WWE superstar Matt Anoa'i, known as Rosie as well, of course the superhero in training with the Hurricane, or 3-minute warning when Eric Bischoff brought them in. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 47, dealing with congestive heart failure in recent years. It was not yet announced if the passing was related to the heart failure or not, but unfortunately he passed away this week. He was the son of Hall of Famer Sika, and is he Matt, is he Roman's brother too?
Yeah, he was the older brother, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and he made his first major break into the professional wrestling world in 1996 as Big Matty Smalls in ECW, and then he was brought in to a developmental deal with the WWE, and in 2002, as 3-minute warning, the Hired Thugs for Eric Bischoff, that started. Who can forget the hot lesbian action that Eric Bischoff brought us? And
kind of strange and kind of sad that both members of 3-minute warning are gone.
I know, it is very strange. And Rosie was released in 2006. He worked for All Japan Pro Wrestling and a number of independent promotions after that. So definitely our condolences to the Anoa'i family, and in this definitely is a tough time. Justin Roberts, last week, he made another comment for his book, and he posted the following on social media. If anyone out there has ever thought about writing a book, or wrote a book, you may or may not know that the publishing process is the biggest challenge. If you've chased this dream and lost hope due to the challenging process, please learn from my experience. I shot my book to lists and lists of agents before I finally had one agent who was interested. That agent shopped it to lists and lists of publishers who were not interested. When we parted ways, I planned on self-publishing until a friend convinced me to keep trying. So now I shop the book to lists and lists of publishers on my own, knowing that publishers usually prefer working with agents. When I came close to giving up, I did not. A few publishers played with the idea but passed. I still did not give up because I believed in my story and knew I would eventually find a publisher willing to take a chance on me. And many agents and publishers passed because they may not believe in this book, and I didn't give up. All it would take is just one publisher to say yes. And that day came when Meyer and Meyer Sport received my email and gave me the chance I needed today. I got word, according to Nielsen Bookscan, Best Seat in the House is one of the top 50 sports books in each of the 3 weeks it's been on sale, officially making it a bestseller. So good stuff there. Obviously, I think a lot more people got interested once the JBL stuff came out, huh, Matt?
I mean, I'm not really sure that's what it is, but I'm happy for him. I'm happy the book's selling well. It's definitely an eye-opening story into what it's like to work backstage for that company, and it's full of a lot of drama and crap, which is truly unfortunate.
Did you finish it up?
Huh?
Did you get a chance to finish the book?
Yeah, I did. I finished the book the weekend of WrestleMania. I've been finished with it for a while. So I definitely recommend it. It's a really good read.
Darryl, what are your thoughts on this whole JBL situation? Do you think he should be fired over this, or?
It's two sides to a story. Not to say that, JBL didn't do what he did, but we have yet to hear his side, if there's any side at all. So no, I don't think he should be fired. I just recently bought the book. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I'm interested to see, what Justin says about the whole JBL situation.
Well, you may not know. I don't know if you know this or not, though, but it did come out last week that Dave Meltzer said at least he's talked to at least 15 different people within the company, past and present, that can confirm JBL's actions. So it's, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's dying. It's not going away anytime soon, but I don't think the WWE is doing anything about it either. So.
Yeah, I saw Booker T's comments about it, and I saw the story Matt Hardy told. So, like I said, unless I hear it from JBL myself, I'm not going to say fire him. just my opinion.
Yeah. NXT last week released a new theme. What are your thoughts on the new theme, Matt? Do you like it? Hate it? Indifferent?
It's fine. I'm very indifferent on it. I really don't care. I think people take way too much stock into the opening theme songs of the shows when they should be worrying about the quality of the show itself. I'm indifferent on the theme entirely. I really don't care.
And this was on the tail end of the farewells on the NXT tour for the Revival. The Revival actually turned face, interestingly enough. Bobby Roode had defeated Ty Dillinger with the help of Authors of Pain. This led to Nakamura coming out. Roode called for the Revival, but they ended up helping the babyfaces and then did a goodbye promo. So very interesting moment there. The Revival turning face on NXT live shows. Mauro Ranallo is back, and he's calling MMA for the Japanese MMA promotion Rizin. And very interesting comment right before one match, Matt, where he mentioned a background of one of the ladies having a professional wrestling background. And what a nice little jab at the WWE when he said, "It's great to say that phrase again, huh?"
Well, when it's true, it's true. No pun intended.
And Mauro also commented saying he's not done finishing, or he's not finished with calling pro wrestling. He goes, he said on Twitter here just a few days ago, you should join me for Showtime Boxing on this Saturday, and you best believe I'll be calling pro wrestling again too. Yeah, you always kind of wonder. Kevin Kelly has kind of had his one foot out the door in Ring of Honor. You always kind of wonder if they bring him in, or do you think Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling are potential spots for Mauro, Matt, or do you think it's New Japan?
I'm hearing all the interest is New Japan right now. To be their English broadcaster on New Japan World. He could even fall right back into the Access TV spot when Jim Ross's contract with them runs out. And ironically, Mauro left, Jim Ross came in, Jim Ross left, Mauro comes back. I mean, that could certainly happen too. But I definitely think going forward, we're going to be seeing Mauro working with New Japan again. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That honestly, in New Japan on Access is where I first heard Morrow's commentary and fell in love with it. So I enjoyed the year, a little over a year that we got him in WWE, but clearly that's said and done, and they're negotiating with Morrow's people right now, trying to form a settlement of sorts that when his contract is up in August, that he's going to get some kind of like big money settlement, so he doesn't like go out and do like an interview and talk about JBL and the way JBL treated him and things backstage within the company and whatnot, which honestly to me just paints the company as even shittier than before.
Yeah.
Because basically right now they're just trying to pay Morrow hush money. And honest to God, I mean, I know money talks and bullshit walks, but I would really like Morrow to tell them to go fuck themselves and tell the story when his contract's up.
Well, actually,
because I think it's a story that deserves to be told, and I really hope that the money figure that they're offering him isn't enough for him to take it, and I hope that once his contract's up, that we get to hear Morrow tell his story about what exactly happened when he was there with JBL over the past year.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Have you heard anything further on the New Japan and Access kind of a quicker turnaround time? Have you heard anything from that?
I haven't heard anything of a quicker turnaround time since they're around Wrestle Kingdom in January. I've heard nothing discussed past when we heard those rumblings several months ago. So could be probably nothing.
WWE.
At the end of the day, New Japan wants the American fans to buy in JPW World. They don't really necessarily need the Access TV deal. While it's beneficial, at the end of the day, New Japan's going to get most of their money from America from NJPW World. So they want people to buy that. You can watch this shit live if you want to be up at like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So
is it on demand?
That's really what it comes down to.
Is it on demand?
Oh yeah,
easy access?
All their stuff's on demand. Dude, it's WWE Network, but for New Japan. The only thing that you don't get is you don't get the access to it on your Xbox or your PlayStation or stuff like that. I mean, everything has to be watched through the website, but it's essentially the exact same layout, and it's done the same way as the WWE Network is.
If you are interested in the goodbye speeches from Shinsuke Nakamura, Ty Dillinger, and The Revival, they are up at the WWE YouTube site. Also on the WWE Twitter account as well. I'm not sure how easy it would be to find them on the Twitter with as much as they tweet, but if you go back to April 16th or April 17th, you'll be able to find those there, or just head over to YouTube. And so if you want to check out those farewell speeches. Shelton Benjamin has been cleared to return to the ring. He was cleared actually last month, and it's been official that he will be performing at BCW Promotion on April 21st. This will be his first match since being medically cleared for the surgery following his rotator cuff. And Benjamin actually mentioned on Twitter to somebody who had asked, and he had never signed a WWE deal because of the injury. So he was never under contract with them, even though they had shown some vignettes for him on SmackDown Live. Hopefully that changes here eventually, and we get Shelton Benjamin in the fold here sometime soon. Hey, Matt, how happy are you that Impact Wrestling has to pay Audience of One $336,000?
Delightful!
What, I haven't read up on all this, but what was Audience of One, and what were their kind of, what was their
production company?
Oh, okay. Were they the ones basically that Corgan paid to keep them afloat? Keep Impact afloat? Oh
no, these guys are even from further back than that.
Oh,
like before they started using the Harris Brothers company, Antics, or what the fuck was the Harris Brothers production company's name? I don't fucking remember. Who gives a shit? It was the production company they used before them.
Oh, okay.
They were based out of like Virginia or whatever. And they were owed a ton of money, and TNA basically admitted in court that they were in breach of contract, and they're like, all right, then you're paying up, motherfucker. And, I have a feeling maybe if WWE reaches out to TNA right now and says, "Hey, you want us to cover that bill for you and
wink,
you want us to have
wink.
the Hardy shit?" I think
Wink,
that might
wink.
actually work out for everybody's benefit.
Wink,
Just
wink.
saying.
Though
Just
I do enjoy getting I do enjoy getting broken in spurts though. I like when he just kind of brings it out a little bit at a time.
I'm telling you right now, once that shit's settled, it's full on.
Oh, I can't wait.
They're just waiting for everything to be taken care of.
I can't wait.
Man, well, we'll talk.
It's gonna be great.
We'll talk to Darryl about his WrestleMania experiences here after we cover our headlines. But Darryl, being in attendance in Orlando, Florida, what was it like when the Hardys came out?
I literally lost my voice at that second. That's how crazy it was. Because, like, you know, from where I was sitting, you saw, I mean, I was pretty far away, but I was looking at the monitor or the big screen, and I saw Kofi slowly walking back and forth, walking toward the ring. And then when that music hit, that place just exploded. That's probably the biggest pop I've ever heard live.
That was
ridiculous.
Oh, that was an amazing moment. That was for damn sure.
And it's crazy because I didn't even realize, but until somebody told me, they wrestled, including at WrestleMania 3 times that weekend.
Yep. Yeah, they had a ladder match the night before,
they had
too.
a ladder match on Saturday, too.
Yeah, they had the ladder match on Saturday, and then they wrestled at WrestleCon, I believe, Friday night.
I was going to say either Thursday or Friday night. But yeah, the fact that those guys wrestled 2 ladder matches in one weekend, fucking insane for their age. Yeah, you know what? Those guys don't get enough credit for what they do to their bodies for our entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
God bless the Hardy Boys, man.
Yeah. Former TNA champion, former WWE superstar Ken Anderson, known in the WWE as Mr. Kennedy. It has been announced that he will debut for Ring of Honor on April 28th in their show in Hopkins, Minnesota. He will challenge television champion Marty Scurll. So it'll be interesting to see if he will be there going forward. They don't tell.
Yeah, I don't understand if this is a one-shot deal or if this is a full-time contract or what it is.
Yeah.
I heard he has a wrestling school in the area.
Yeah, him and Daivari have a school in Minneapolis. So
there's a chance this could just be a one-off. Publicity to make.
Yep, could be. Because they don't tape television until just after War of the Worlds, which is second week of May. So they aren't taping television.
No, they just taped a whole bunch of TV. Darryl will be able to tell us all about it before the show's over.
Oh, hey, all right.
Yeah, I was there too. Forgot about that.
Darryl is everywhere.
I try to be.
He's the roving reporter for Lost in the Midcard. Total Divas audience has been went down for the second week of the second half of the season, down to 593,000 viewers from 669 when they brought back I don't know what you call it, the second half of the season, the spring debut or whatever. It's all still considered
still beating Impact's ass.
Yeah, you beat me to it there. I was just about ready to say it's still beating Impact though.
Shit, paint drying will beat Impact's ass. Impact
Wrestling dropped a little bit, slightly. They're kind of hovering right around that 300,000 mark. So that's where they're at right now. Raw dropped in ratings slightly, about 800,000 from the week before. I would say still a fairly strong hour 3, but it was nowhere near the other 2 hours though. 3.34 million for the night.
So they only lost like 100,000 viewers compared to the week before.
Yeah, for hours.
It really wasn't that bad. Smackdown fell a lot harder, and I'm fully putting all of that blame on Jobber Mahal.
550,000 people less tuned in to SmackDown Live. They dropped from the first time of hitting 3 million since the brand split.
The draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was last week. This week they dropped down to 2.544 million, which is basically the lowest amount since December.
When they tuned in and they said, "What the fuck is a jobber?" winning the number one contendership for the WWE Championship, I'm turning this garbage off.
Yeah, well,
and to be honest, I don't fucking blame them.
Yeah, I don't get it. Very weird. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but first, Darryl, what all did you do while you were down in Orlando for WrestleMania weekend?
Well, I got down there like late Thursday, maybe like 9 o'clock, and went straight downtown Orlando for Wale Mania. It's pretty cool because like I've seen a lot of wrestlers there, anywhere from the Hurricane and his girlfriend or wife was there. I got to see Jericho, the New Day, Adam Cole. Next day, that's Friday, checked out WrestleCon, where I actually met the Hardys, and that was pretty good. But you have to have a lot of money for WrestleCon. It will break your ass.
Yes, you do. It will. I try to warn people about that, dude. WrestleCon ain't cheap.
I
that was
tried
one of the things I didn't do. That was one of a few things I didn't do last year was WrestleCon.
Yeah, I suggest what I tried to do is the people that I knew I wanted to meet specifically, I kind of prepaid for a lot of people. So when I went down there, I didn't have to really like take any money out.
Yeah, I did the same thing when I did it at 30.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the craziness about it was the last time I was on Lost in the Midcard, remember how you guys said Orlando's so scattered out? Access was literally right next door to WrestleCon.
Yeah, so, they held them right across the street.
No, it wasn't even across the street. It was like maybe right next to it. It was literally walking up the stairs through a walkway, and I was there.
Oh,
that's
really?
Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Like,
I'm sure WWE wrote about that.
Yeah, for the most, because their convention center is huge. When I say huge, like it has a west wing, a north wing, a south wing, and a east wing. And literally, the west wing was right next to the hotel that WrestleCon was in. So we did that. End up checking out Access on a random just because, and Access was pretty cool because I got to see everybody I wanted to meet, and I spent more money at WrestleCon than I actually spent at Access, which was pretty cool. So overall, I went to the next, I think Saturday, I ended up waking up early and got to meet Edge and Christian at WrestleCon, and ended up meeting Samoa Joe, which pretty cool, pretty good guy. Went to TakeOver that night. Actually, before I went to TakeOver, I ended up going to we drove from our hotel to Lakeland, where Supercard of Honor was, to meet the Young Bucks and Cody, and then drove another hour back to make it in time for TakeOver. So
that's massive props to you, dude. I don't know how many people did that. That's a lot of traveling to get those meetings done.
Yeah.
You know what I told you? This is my first Mania. I wanted to do it all. So if I ever do Mania again, which I will, I have experienced just about everything I needed to that I wanted to. So it was pretty cool. So I end up meeting the Young Bucks and Cody. Shot back down to Orlando. Made it just in time for TakeOver, and was dead tired and kind of hungover before I went to Mania the next day. But if I have to do it again,
the weekends are exhausting, man. People don't understand how exhausted you are. They're like, "Oh, you just got back from vacation." You're like, "Dude, yeah, it's vacation, but it's an exhausting vacation, and you come back and you don't feel like you had a day off." And you're right back in the thick of everything because you don't really get that downtime during these types of weekends. It's just nonstop.
I will say this: I actually enjoyed every part of it. I said previously, "Oh yeah, I'm not looking forward to Mania, blah blah blah." But I went down there and I probably had one of the best vacations of my life. Because I was brought back to my childhood. I've been watching wrestling since I was 3 years old. So to go to WrestleMania, experience it, and they literally shut down the whole city for WrestleMania. Like, you see everybody just walking around with wrestling shirts on. You see, and just random people asking, "Oh, you guys are here for the wrestling?" Yep, we are. Like, everybody knew what was going on. Like, and I guarantee next year at 34, because everything's not so scattered in New Orleans, that it'll be more accessible. like I said,
dude, I'm telling you, I was in New Orleans for 30. It's a beautiful setup. Everything is within walking distance if you're willing to make the walk.
right.
You can also, you can grab an Uber or a cab or whatever. But it's a beautiful setup down in New Orleans. It was easily, to me, the best laid out setup for a WrestleMania event down there. Just how close everything was to each other. And the food down there is fantastic. You can go down there to New Orleans for a weekend and have a ball.
Yeah, the thing about Orlando was, like you said, everything was so scattered. Like I rented a car, with the intentions of just driving from the airport to where we were staying. But I ended up literally, like, downtown was maybe 25 minutes from where we were staying, because we were staying in Kissimmee. And then Lakeland was 45 minutes to an hour. Luckily, the closest thing to us was the convention center and the hotel where they had WrestleCon and access. And that was like 15 minutes away. So I'm hoping, like, next year, or like you said, next year, everything is in the close vicinity, and Uber will be earning their money that weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot better setup down in New Orleans. Like, if you get a hotel by the Superdome, like, we had a hotel by the Superdome. We were literally within like a block's walking distance from the Superdome, and the Smoothie King Center, which is where they do Raw, the Hall of Fame, and obviously next year NXT as well. It's right next to the Superdome. Like, they sit side by side of each other. And the only thing that's a distance, it's about a mile walk to get to access from where we had our hotel. And we walked it once or twice. We taxied once or twice, just depending on how we felt, throughout that weekend. But, everything's really close together down there compared to every other WrestleMania I've ever attended. And it's good times, man. Anybody that goes to New Orleans next year, regardless of what the card's going to be, if you're just going down there to like for the experience, you're going to have a good time in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, it was overall a great experience. I literally told my wife, like, most people want to go to like Vegas or out the country and stuff like that for, like a little guys trip. WrestleMania will be my guys trip, my getaway. That's
ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I had so much fun. So, like, I've actually tapped into like I said, my inner childhood. So, like, next year I'm definitely going to the Rumble in Philadelphia.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah,
I might have to go. I might have to go with you.
And Matt, you know me. Like, pretty much I'm always in Philly. So
I know you're Philly's your second home.
Right. So
we got an Eagles fan on the line right now.
Absolutely.
But no, I'm just dude. If you're going to the Rumble, man, like, seriously, we gotta coordinate. I might want to head on up there with you.
Yeah, I'm actually. I have a buddy who he actually goes. He's been to like 8 straight Manias. He was not. We went through basic training. Yeah, we went through basic training together in the military, and we saw each other for the first time because he runs the Connor's Cure tailgate. So we saw each other for the first time in 15 years down at WrestleMania. So that was awesome as well.
I went to 5 straight. I thought that was some kind of impressive feat, but 8, damn.
Yeah, he's actually moving down here because he's stationed in Honduras now. He's actually moving down here, and we've talked about getting together, for the Royal Rumble next year, because he's like letting me know when the NXT tickets go on sale, as well as the Rumble. I have to be there for the Rumble. Like, I want to go to all the big 4 pay-per-views.
I wonder if that...
WrestleMania converted you.
Dude, it really did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I came back and people were like, well, how was it? Like, I came back like I was born again. That's the one thing I can compare it to. I had so much fun. Like, it wasn't, any hassle. Everybody was pretty much friendly. Everybody was down there for the same thing. You can sit in line, whether you're waiting for a wrestler or waiting for food, and just talk wrestling. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's fun, man.
So you went to WrestleCon. Did you go to TakeOver too?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I was, like I said, I was pissed because I wanted to if I wanted to do Takeover and Super Card of Honor, but I could do one or the other, so I'd just rather done Takeover.
What was your favorite Takeover match?
Oh, of course, the tag match, dude.
Yeah, that's what we said too.
The tag match,
The
place,
tag match was incredible.
Place was live for that tag match.
What did you think of Aleister Black's entrance?
I don't know if you noticed, but I don't like the new name, Aleister Black. I call him I've been a Tommy End fan forever.
Yeah.
He started. So as soon as he came out, like I said, my cousin and his friend knew nothing about him. I said, just watch. Just watch. This guy has it. And sure enough, they were fans right after that.
That finisher kick he has is freaking awesome.
Yes. It was actually crazy because we missed the finish because it was fans in like section 220 who were just like acting stupid and chanting like their section. So if you go back on the network,
they didn't have beach balls with them, did they?
No. It was ignorant. It was like they were just yelling like we're the best section 220. But if you go back on the network and actually check out that finish, you'll hear the crowd saying shut the fuck up. They were talking to that section.
That's great. Mania itself, I bet you were surprised as we were when it was announced that the Intercontinental title was being done on the pre-show, huh?
Oh, I was pissed. I was pissed. I could tell you, I was actually in line going to get something to drink during that match.
Yeah.
Because they didn't inform anybody.
No,
they didn't.
Because they knew there were going to be a riot.
we knew.
They had the women's match on there, and then all the women's fans complained on Twitter to WWE, and WWE's like, oh, due to fan demand, we're going to move this match to the main card, but they never mentioned that something was going to take its place.
Yeah, they literally...
So, they legitimately told nobody until 60 seconds before the match was about to go on that match was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was... They really, angered a lot of people with that. People base plans around this shit.
Right, my cousin
we were getting food.
And we were trying to figure out, we found out like that Saturday or that Friday that the women's match had been moved to the main card. We're like, okay, so what's going to replace it? And like I said, my cousin's an Ambrose fan. So we literally get up like right before, I think right after the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and went to go grab something to eat and drink. And he hears Ambrose and he's cussing up a storm. Pissed because the lines were long as hell.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all because everybody was like, oh, well, these were the two scheduled matches for the pre-show. They're going to do some rambling before the show starts. Let's go get some food.
Yeah.
As soon as the Battle Royal left, my friend went to go pick up the food that we ordered for the pay-per-view. And by the time they got back, we were like 6 or 7 minutes deep into Ambrose versus Corbin. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That this was going to happen. They didn't fucking tell anybody. And it was a really shady tactic on WWE's part. It definitely annoyed a lot of people who planned their evenings around this stuff, to make, the event as, commendable for them as possible.
Right. People throw parties for WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, only thing I will say that I did not enjoy about the weekend was the fact that they can't have it in Orlando for a while. And the reason why I say this is because you had two options with parking. Well, actually three technically. You had one where you can park at the stadium. That's $50 right there. Two, we parked at the Amway Center garage. That was like $15, and you could either walk, which was a 20-minute walk, or Uber to the stadium, which we did. Or, and I don't know if you're familiar with Florida too much, but a lot of people, whether it's football games or whatnot, they literally let you have their backyard. They'll charge you $20-something or $20 to park in their yard, in your front yard. So those are your three options. So when we literally left Mania, and I know you guys saw how many people were in that stadium. We literally walked back from the stadium to Amway Center, and that was ridiculous.
I would have been miserable.
Yeah, I was tired. And not to mention, like I said, we were downtown. So it was also a 20-minute walk to the car, then like 25 minutes to drive back to the room, and we didn't literally get back into
probably
the
like bumper to bumper traffic.
Yeah, so we didn't get back to the room till maybe like 1:45, 2 o'clock, and we had to be at the airport at 5 in the morning.
Oh God! Did you even go to bed, or did you just stay up?
I slept for 2 hours and slept on the plane, and then as soon as I got back home, I called my wife and said I'm home and crashed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed again.
The long as I woke up in time to pick my son up and watch Raw, I was good.
What was your favorite match at WrestleMania?
It's hard because I enjoyed the ladder match, but truth be told, I actually enjoyed Lesnar versus Goldberg.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun match.
Yeah, they did as much as they could with 5 minutes. You know, they put a lot into 5 minutes.
It was crazy because people said, "What's your prediction for the match?" I literally called that match. I said, "What's going to happen?" I said, "Spear, jackhammer, Goldberg gets up, however many suplexes, F5, Goldberg's done," and I called it. Mm-hmm. That's the only.
Yeah, I thought Goldberg would kick out of the first F5. I thought it would take another one to put him down. But I still thought the match overall was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was a good match. Like besides, I mean, and the match AJ and Shane, that was a hell of a match.
Yeah, that was a lot. That match was much better than it had any right to be.
Like, yeah, I went crazy when he caught him in the triangle when he tried to hit the 450.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was an awesome moment when Shane countered that into a triangle. Then what were your thoughts on the Raw after WrestleMania? The Roman standing in the ring for 10 minutes. How great was that?
One of the greatest promos I've ever heard in my life.
By the crowd or by Roman?
Fuck you, Roman.
You know what? I actually earned a lot of respect for Roman after that promo. He didn't have to say much, and literally
he controlled the damn crowd with just his movements.
He looked like he was just fucking with the crowd just to see how long they can go for. And I gave him so much respect for that.
Yeah, my only wish was a fuck that Al chant was going to get going at Raw, and sure enough, the crowd delivered.
Absolutely.
So that was great.
But overall, great time. Great time at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, I can't go next year because my wife is expecting in July, so I gotta chill out. But 2019, I plan on being there again.
Wonder where that'll be. I don't know.
Well,
I will tell you, that this next year was supposed to be back in Jersey, at what the hell's the name of the fucking field the Giants and the Jets play at?
The new one.
MetLife. Yeah, MetLife. Like next year's WrestleMania was supposed to be at MetLife, and New Orleans came at WWE really hard with some presentation because they're holding like some kind of crazy festival in New Orleans next year around WrestleMania time, and they're like, yeah, we can work this in with the synergy with the WWE, and it'll be great. And they sold WWE on going back there. So if I had to guess, I'd say after New Orleans, they're going to go back to MetLife.
I've heard rumblings for a couple of
35.
years. I've heard rumblings for a couple of years that Philly is also a good place to have it, and if it's there, that's my backyard.
Well, Philly's always in the running, but they never seem to deliver when it comes to the presentation.
But it'll be so
they're in the running every year, and they never seem to wow WWE enough to go.
It'll be so convenient because literally...
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, it's like everything, like where the Eagles play is literally a 5 minute, not even 5 minutes, depending on how you walk, to where the Flyers play. And that's where they would have Raw, Smackdown, the Hall of Fame, and TakeOver. Yeah, it's right there.
I mean, now that they're doing it in stadiums, though, now for WrestleMania, it's such a risk doing it up north. I mean, April, a snowstorm can easily hit up there in April.
Well, you're absolutely correct, because when we left, it was chilly, and we went down to Florida, it's like 80 degrees. I came back, and it was back to like 40 degrees.
Well, Matt, you were at New York, weren't you? And you said you were freezing your ass off, right?
I was cold as shit at WrestleMania 29, and I had a lot of heavy clothing on, and I was still fucking cold. It was a very cold night in New Jersey, very windy. And, I can only imagine how bad it would have been if we would have had any, like, snow or rain or any time during that event.
Well, if you go next time, get you a couple of Steve Weisers and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
What?
Plus, I mean, I wonder, is Minnesota's, that's an indoor stadium, right?
It's indoor now, yes.
Yeah, well, they lost. They fell out of favor with WWE when they announced that WrestleMania was coming there before WWE officially announced it, and WWE got pissed and backed out.
I wouldn't be surprised because they built a new stadium in Atlanta, so placing the Georgia Dome. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down there as an option as well.
And as soon as that new stadium opens in Los Angeles, that they'll be there for that.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised about Vegas either, because the Raiders are going there.
Vegas,
that's true. Yeah, we can see a lot of WrestleManias out west in the next several years due to all those new stadiums coming.
If they do go to Los Angeles, I'm staying with my sister who lives a half hour outside of LA. I'm good.
Well, that's pretty convenient.
Yeah.
If they ever did it at University of Phoenix Stadium there in Arizona, I would definitely be there because I've got a place to stay there. So
nice.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool if they ever went to Phoenix. We missed out on NXT last week, but it was a great NXT, so we'll cover it real quick here. Aleister Black made his Full Sail debut as he took on Corey Hollis in a relatively quick match. In relatively quick, I mean they locked up and Black hit the Black Mass. That's how quick it was. They looked at Ty Dillinger's debut on SmackDown Live when he faced Kurt Hawkins, and gave him an interview there, how he has been working for 15 years to get to this point. Says he's got some unfinished business at NXT, and he talked to Regal, and he gets himself a steel cage match with Eric Young next week. Gargano and Ciampa took on Dylan Miley and Michael Blaze. Michael Blaze basically looks like a cheap Seth Rollins knockoff. Dylan Miley, a big dude. DIY took care of them. Interesting, though. It's kind of, I always found this kind of interesting how, I don't think I've seen this Dylan Miley guy on NXT before, but they kind of had like a segment with him after the match where he beat the hell out of his tag team partner. I thought that was kind of weird. That, I mean, a guy we don't know, and they kind of, but
they're building up a new character. I don't have an issue with that. I found it funny that the crowd was chanting "Broken Rollins."
Broken Rollins.
That's the guy as he was getting his ass beat. So I thought that was pretty damn amusing. Well, yeah, and I have a feeling that I hate my tag partner gimmick's going to continue for the foreseeable future.
Oh, for this guy, you think?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. He's impressive though, dude. Jeez.
He's a big motherfucker.
That's a big dude.
I know Vince is oiling himself up. You got it, pal.
Tag him with Strowman.
What would you call that tag team?
Fuck. Twin Towers.
We're gonna call it Vince's Erection.
Oh shit.
Where's my baby oil?
Tower, pal.
Where's my baby oil, pal? Ruby Riott took on the debuting Kimberly in a fairly short match there. Nikki Cross had showed up to kind of get in the head of Ruby Riott. Didn't really work as Ruby Riott got the win, but obviously that feud is continuing. And then we got ourselves a main event of Orny Lorcan and Drew McIntyre. McIntyre's return to NXT, and holy shit, was this a hard-hitting match, Matt?
Yeah, they don't let Lorcan lie down for anybody. You know, he had that match on 205 Live after WrestleMania. He had a really hard-hitting match with Swan.
Yeah.
And then he had a really hard-hitting match with McIntyre on NXT. You know, ain't no nights off for Orny Lorcan, man. That dude's a fighter. But it was a great return for Drew as far as I'm concerned. I thought the match was great.
God, when he caught Lorcan coming off the turnbuckle onto the outside, caught him and then put him into like a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker onto the apron, that was a sick move, man.
Was he always that big?
Drew?
Yeah.
Drew? I would say yeah.
I think he's built differently now.
Yeah, like I just don't remember him being that big.
He was a little more lanky. When he was in the WWE the first time, he definitely, developed his body mass when he's been since he left the company and went to Impact and started wrestling in the UK and all over the world and
I thought he was a
Evolve and
little.
whatnot.
I thought he was bigger
definitely.
when. I thought he was bigger when he was in 3MB at the tail end of his run there.
Yeah, well, he got so little TV time at that point. I couldn't even tell you if I remember that.
Yeah, when he first got introduced, he was a little string bean, I thought.
So, what were your thoughts when you saw that guy on the screen at Takeover?
I flipped my wig. I was like, "Oh, okay. Now I see what we're doing here."
I like this. I like this tradition of having random major talents show up in the front row at Takeover. Now, I kind of like this tradition.
Yeah. It's interesting to see who's going to. I wouldn't say probably take over Chicago. You'll see anybody, but definitely Brooklyn. I see somebody
at the WrestleMania ones of the last 2 years. That was where Bobby Roode came in.
Oh yeah.
And then Drew. And when Drew says the line, "I could have gone anywhere," Raw, SmackDown, Ring of Honor, I chose NXT. I almost think Drew ain't bullshitting with that line either, Matt. You?
I heard he clearly anywhere else in the world he could have gone. Impact, Ring of Honor, anywhere in the UK. He could have gone anywhere. And as far as I'm understanding, when he signed with the company, he requested to go to NXT.
Yep. He could have gone to Raw or SmackDown easily, too.
So, the fact that he wants to go work in NXT first, and, as far as I'm concerned, if you're working in NXT before you get up to the main roster, and you are in Triple H's favor, more often than not, you got a friend up on the main roster when you go up there.
Yeah.
So it won't hurt having Triple H fighting Drew's battles for him when he gets up to the main roster again.
And it'll be so good to finally maybe have this guy booked the way he's supposed to. We got a glimpse of how he's supposed to be booked in Impact Wrestling, and obviously he's going to be the guy, a top star in NXT, and I think his battles with Roode are going to be epic. I cannot wait.
I feel like that's going to be the main event in Brooklyn.
You think so?
I feel like it's going to be Roode and McIntyre for the title.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. NXT this week, we kick it off with a glorious beginning. Bobby Roode talking about how he's the sole reason why the Amway Center filled up with 15,000 people for TakeOver. That the old guard of NXT is now out the door as Shinsuke Nakamura is gone. The transformation of Bobby Roode's NXT is fully complete. He called the farewell of Nakamura last week pathetic, but I would not say so. Matt, I thought that was just an amazing moment. You can see the emotion on Shinsuke's face. What did you think of the whole moment at the end of last week's NXT?
I thought the send-off was great. I mean, honestly, the only thing they didn't show us was I know Triple H came out after Finn did. They didn't show that to us, but I know he did for the live crowd. I thought it was a really classy and nice send-off for Shinsuke because let's face it, dude didn't need to go down to NXT.
No.
Styles, Gallus, and Anderson all went right into the main roster. Shinsuke could have done the same damn thing. He went down to NXT and worked down there for a year. He wanted to be on the main roster. So I thought it was a really nice send-off for what they gave him. And they're clearly treating him as an important commodity on SmackDown so far because he's been up there for 3 weeks and they haven't let him wrestle a goddamn match yet. So they're definitely, playing him off. He's special. He's a big deal. When you see him, it's important. So hopefully they continue to use him properly on the main roster.
What makes me happy is the fact that the casual, the WWE universe, the main roster crowd goes nuts for him. You wonder, do a lot of these people know this guy? Are these guys just in their WWE bubble? They don't even watch NXT. You always kind of wonder about some of these guys that get called up, and they go nuts for Nakamura, and I can't be any more happy about it.
I listened to Jericho's podcast the other day when he had Big Cass on, and Big Cass mentioned when they moved up to the main roster, Jericho asked him, did the fans, did they have a fear that the fans would not know who they were? And he said no. And also, like, pretty much when they came out, everybody knew their shtick. Everybody knew everything they were going to say when they came out. And that was actually a good thing because, especially the Raw after Mania, so the casual WWE fan who doesn't watch NXT, they see the fans on
who know who he is,
who know who they are, and they're cheering and they're saying everything with them, and they're like, oh, this person might be very important. Well, who is this? You know what I mean? Like, so if they seen SmackDown and everybody's singing along to Shinsuke, Cass was like, regardless of who it is, if particularly the fans after Raw, the Raw after Mania, those fans that are there, they actually make it better for them to the casual fan who are watching on TV who don't know who these guys are.
Yeah. And God, that moment was amazing. I was in attendance for that Raw, so was Matt, and the place just went fucking bonkers when Enzo and Cass came out. Thought in the back of my mind this could have been the spot because it was so weird that the Dudleys were still there arguing and yapping, and after that, and then man, the roof just blew off. On this week's NXT, Rude saying that he didn't want to listen to Nakamura's garbage, and Nakamura had to run away from NXT after the beatings that Rude gave him, and the return of Hideo Itami came, and I think Hideo made his presence known. Matt, don't you agree?
No, this is a great return to TV for Hideo, and honestly, we've seen a really sad pattern as of late where the NXT guys finally get called up to the main roster and then they get hurt. I, for one, want to try to take a positive spin on what's happened to Hideo so far. Maybe this dude's gotten all of his injuries out of the way, and by the time he gets called up to the main roster, there's not going to be any issues. So I think it's a good thing. Hopefully, as long as he doesn't get hurt again, I think it's going to be smooth sailing from Hideo here on out.
Are they? Is the 205 Live talk with him pretty much dead now?
I never heard any talk with Hideo on 205 Live.
I had heard a little bit about it. I was kind of fearful of
it. I had never heard that.
A hell of a slap by Itami to Rude's face. It was such a great slap. The NXT Universe wanted him to do it one more time. Bobby slowly takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves, and only to go into a GTS. Oh, I missed the GTS from Hideo. So good. I can imagine those two are going to be crossing paths very soon. We learned that there will be a United Kingdom title match on NXT next week between Tyler Bate and Jack Gallagher. They had a friendly discussion backstage. I'm excited for that one. I think that's going to be a real fun match. Did I catch them mentioning something about a UK weekly show coming soon?
Yeah, they announced it at WrestleMania week during 205 Live. They brought out for the guys during the show from the UK tournament and said that there would be a weekly UK show coming soon to the network.
Oh, I must have missed that 205 Live. Very cool. They get back from commercial break, and Rude is still trying to get up after he took a nice little nap on the canvas. They showed in the Performance Center Andrade Cien Almas getting into it with Drew McIntyre, and that's going to lead to a match between them next week. But first, Andrade Cien Almas took on Danny Burch from the UK tournament. Match only lasted a few minutes, basically to put Almas over ahead to his matchup with Drew McIntyre next week. Liv Morgan and Aaliyah took on Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Another kind of a short match here on NXT with the Good Girls, if you want to call them that. Liv and Aaliyah getting the win this time, setting up kind of a little payback as they've been tormented by the beautiful Australian duo for some time now.
Somebody get Aaliyah off my damn TV.
You're not down with the cat's meow, are you?
I am most certainly not.
Well, we had a few short matches because we had ourselves a hell of a main event. Steel cage match between Eric Young and Ty Dillinger, basically Dillinger's farewell from NXT. This awesome cage match went 23 minutes, and to nobody's surprise, Sanity came out. Though Eric Young sent them to the back at the beginning of the match, to nobody's surprise, they came out during the match, but only to be thwarted by Roddy Strong, Cassius Ohno, and Ruby Riott. Throughout the cage match, a couple of the top of the cage moves with both Ty and Eric. Eric doing an awesome elbow drop off the cage, Ty doing a crossbody onto the entire Sanity roster. I thought those were a couple of awesome spots. After all of the insanity and chaos with everybody involved, Ty escaped the ring and was raised up on the shoulders of Roddy and Cassius to basically, this was Ty Dillinger's send-off to NXT as he leaves victorious, finally shedding the demons of Eric Young and Sanity. Matt, what were your thoughts on the NXT main event tonight?
Here's the thing. I normally like it when the guy does the job on the way out the door of NXT to go up to the main roster. But the fact of the matter is, poor Ty's lost so fucking much. On terms of like takeovers and shit over the course of the last year. If any motherfucker deserved to win on his way out the door of NXT, it was Ty fucking Dillinger. So I was happy to see him get the win. I'm happy that he's on SmackDown. I'm happy he's won twice so far. And I hope we continue to see good things for him on the Blue brand going forward.
Yeah, Darryl, what were your thoughts on the main event of NXT tonight?
That was a well-deserved win by Ty. And that dive off the cage was awesome.
Oh, yes, it was.
I was waiting for No Way Jose, but I guess he's quote-unquote still hurt.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, dude. He wasn't at the tapings tonight either.
I was actually at Access meeting Joe when Sanity attacked him.
That went down?
Yeah, I was actually looking. I was actually in line and looked over. It was like because where the VIPs were signing, the NXT ring was right there. So I'm sitting there watching No Way Jose get his ass whooped while waiting in line.
I'm hoping he's okay because I expected him back at the tapings tonight, and he was not present at the NXT TV tapings tonight, and these tapings ran all the way through
Chicago.
Through to Chicago.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was not on these shows either kind of makes me like, is he okay? Is there heat on Mr. Jose, or is he legitimately hurt and that's why they wrote him off? I'm like, I don't freaking know.
Maybe just getting a little time off too. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems to be weird.
He doesn't really need repackage.
They wrote him off like they did. So
I mean, he doesn't really need repackage. His gimmick's getting over. I don't think he needs to turn heel at all. I think he can be a main event talent.
It was weird because literally the same day they taped him getting attacked by Sanity was the same day of Takeover. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it's a work, he'll be back. And we get into we're filing in, trying to find our seats, and that was the first match. And then we hear Cassius Ohno come. I'm like, well, what the hell? Did he? What's going on? I was totally confused.
Yeah, they informed the viewing audience during the pre-show that No Way Jose had been attacked at Access, and the medical staff said he was not cleared to compete, and that Regal told Ty that they either needed to find a partner or the match would be a handicap match.
Okay.
And
that's why they brought out Ohno.
And whoever filmed that angle at Access, we're using an iPhone 3. That was terrible video of the incident. So how was talking to Joe for a couple minutes?
I told him, hey, saw you at Wale Mania. It looked like you was having fun. He was like, yeah, I was. I said, I'm mad you don't have a match. And he literally said, well, I'll be around, and gave me a wink, and that was it.
Yet he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Matt and I thought maybe shit went so long they axed all the interference in that Seth and Triple H match.
I literally think they did.
It was that long football field of a ramp that they had. That thing was long as hell.
Yeah, so they said it was 80 yards.
Thank God Undertaker only had to go half of it.
Yeah, I think the length of that ramp threw off WWE's entire time frame for that show. I think they lost so much time with people going back and forth up that ramp that things just ended up getting cut.
Well, they started late too.
Not on my clock.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to start at 7, and they maybe started maybe 10 after. Like, I don't know if it was a delay or anything else, but they started kind of late because everybody was getting a little fidgety because they weren't starting on time.
I did on at home. They started on time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure. They opened with a big old video package and all that gimmick, and then they did the New Day opening skit, which took a shit ton of time. So I think between that and how much time Styles and Shane got, I feel like the entire rest of the night was on crunch time. So it is what it is.
Well, we're go back to Mania real quick. What were your thoughts on the end of Mania, the farewell of Taker, and all that, Darryl?
Well, listen, I'll be 35 in October. I remember my dad ordering the Survivor Series 1991 or 90, I believe, when he debuted. My dad's favorite wrestler of all time is The Undertaker. So, like, every time The Undertaker was in a big match, we had that pay-per-view at our house. So that was a piece of my childhood going. I was kind of pissed off that Roman was the guy to retire him, but I also thought in hindsight as well, The Undertaker is pretty much old school. He's going to put over new talent or quote unquote the guy on his way out. That's that's his business. You know what I mean?
That's a given that he would do that.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I was pissed off because it was him. I would have preferred, it would have been, as much as I don't like Cena or, maybe AJ or somebody, that was more seasoned to do it. But
why not Jinder Mahal?
Oh yeah. I would have loved to see.
Why not?
I would have loved to see the Demon and the Dead Man.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I would have loved to see it. It was a little piece. It was like Christmas Day, waking up and you didn't get a toy. It's like somebody took a piece of your childhood away, and it was ridiculous. Like, that sucked the air out of that whole stadium, and like people were lingering around. Like still hanging around, like when the Undertaker was in there putting his jacket back on and putting his hat back on, and everybody's chanting "Thank you, Taker," and he takes it off, and it was like I saw people in there like teary eyed, like they were crying, like it was ridiculous.
Monday Night Raw this week, we kick off with Braun Strowman being pissed off, and he said that he's proud to say he broke Roman Reigns in half and got himself a big pop for that. He said he's proud that he left that Roman Reigns left in an ambulance, noting that Reigns had a separated shoulder and cracked ribs. Strowman said he's proud to announce that Reigns will not be here tonight, and then the yes chant started. Darryl, we thought that was one of the coolest moments in Raw in some time now, and it's going to be talked about for years to come. But what were your thoughts on that ambulance scene last week?
Braun Strowman, the new savior of the masses. And like the one thing that keeps playing in my head, I'm not done with you yet. Every time I hear that, I just start cracking the hell up.
To me, it's like I told JB this last week, and I'm sure you'll probably agree. The I'm not done yet completely reminded me of Austin and Brett.
Yes.
Back in the 90s, yes. When they wheeled Brett in the ambulance and they pulled to the front of the car, and Austin's in there with the driver, and he said, "No, I'm not done. I told him we were both going straight to hell," and runs back and starts pounding on Brett some more. Like that's exactly what that moment reminded me of. And I mean, that executed the double turn there, which essentially turned Brett heel and Austin babyface.
Yes.
And I feel like they accidentally did the same thing again.
Well, and what's baffling is they were starting to turn Reigns heel, and now they're trying to make him a sympathetic babyface, but this ain't gonna make it happen. But which is confusing to me that they're trying. Reigns was completely heel.
I think that segment was the funniest shit I've seen on Raw in a long time.
Yeah, I know it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I was laughing my ass off. So it was good times.
Oh man, it was great. It's going to be one of those moments that you look back on and say, "Damn, this is good." David Otunga is off filming a movie. I don't think anybody missed him, did we?
Nope.
No.
I don't mind Booker T on commentary. I thought he was decent on SmackDown, so it's good to see Booker, who will have Book here for the next 6 weeks or so.
It seemed they kept him speaking to a minimal.
Yeah, he didn't.
On Raw, too, which kind of helped. Because when they let him get going on the pre-shows, I just want to mute the damn television. But it seemed like with Corey and Cole, for the most part, carrying the commentary, and Booker just had a line in there, here and there, it was a lot more tolerable Booker T on Raw Monday night than we're used to getting.
I just wish Vince could get out of his head of 3-man booths and fucking go back to the 2-man booth. Basically NXT is a 2-man booth. You barely hear anything from Percy Watson.
Yeah, I hate the 3-man booth.
But I will say Saxton has gotten a lot better.
Saxton's always been good. They just didn't let him do anything on Raw.
Yeah, him and Graves were pretty good together.
When Saxton and Phillips commentated NXT in the era a couple years back, they were really good together, and they're really good together again on SmackDown now. So SmackDown might not have been very good on Tuesday night, but at least
just gotta get rid of that piece of shit.
I was gonna say at least the commentary was tolerable. But yeah,
I saw an article where they're gonna try to make JBL a babyface now on Raw, and I'm like, you got
Raw?
Saxton.
What do you mean on
SmackDown?
Raw?
On SmackDown, I'm sorry.
Well, 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, he's been happy, smiley JBL, who hasn't given Byron one iota of shit. Yeah. So it's very clear that they're trying to steer his on-air persona in a different direction, which is clearly in response to everything that's going on right now.
It was funny. I actually saw last week when they introduced Byron on SmackDown. He was like, "Yeah, I'm happy to be here." Blah 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 blah. JBL says his stuff, and I don't know if you guys caught it, but Byron looked at him with a double take, like, "You're not going to take a shot at me, really?"
He was waiting for it, right?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle comes out, and Angle asks Strowman, "What more does he have to prove? I should suspend you, but instead we're giving you a match with Roman at Payback." And so I don't know. After the events of what happened with Big Show, I almost kind of wish Roman was out for a little while longer, and then they brought Roman back after Payback to feud with Strowman. What's the Raw pay-per-view between Payback and Survivor Series? Is Money in the Bank a Raw pay-per-view, Matt?
No, I think Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules is in June.
Yeah, Extreme Rules is in June. It's a Raw brand. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah,
and they haven't said anything yet about Money in the Bank, have they?
I just know it's going to be in St. Louis. That's it.
I wonder if that'll be a dual.
I feel like Money in the Bank I feel like Money in the Bank SmackDown.
Yeah.
I feel it's a SmackDown pay-per-view. I could be completely wrong, but I thought that it was.
I think it. No, you guys think it should be a dual brand?
Battleground is, I think, SmackDown this year. Because Battleground is in Philly this year, I think.
So it could be a dual brand, possibly.
I don't know. Who knows?
So Strowman asked Angle what he's doing tonight. Angle said he should be suspended, but no, you got the night off. And Strowman said he wanted some competition, or else. And we'll see a little bit of that or else later.
I was going to say we're going to get to my favorite line of the night coming up.
Seth Rollins makes his entrance. He's on commentary for the next match, which was Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho. Only lasted 9 minutes, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Well done match between these guys. Right guy going over here, Joe, making Jericho tap out with the Coquina Clutch. Kind of wondering, what they do with Joe after Seth Rollins, or maybe they just continue this feud for a few months. I don't know.
Like, I'm in the minority. I know we're not going to get it, but motherfucker, I'd love to see Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out. Like, I just feel like that's a money match that WWE's not even thinking about right now, and I just think they're leaving a lot of money on the table by not thinking about doing Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. I just think that'd be fucking amazing.
It's one of the few believable guys that you could have beat Lesnar for the title. Who is taking that title off of him? You think he's keeping it to Mania still, Matt?
It's the unfortunate rumor, my friend.
Who would take it off of Mania? Roman?
Him and Roman.
It's supposed to be Roman.
Ugh, where's my trash can? I need a puke.
I honestly think, like, after Joe gets done with Rollins, I have a feeling that he's going to go after Ambrose.
I'd be cool with that. Ambrose just needs to retain against The Miz.
Yeah.
But Joe is Intercontinental Champion. I'm down with that shit.
Well, shit, the way they're booking The Miz on Raw now, Matt.
Dude, I bet you he's like, my motherfucker, why did I have to leave SmackDown?
I thought they'd actually book him well on Raw, just with.
No, they've been treating him like shit.
Yeah, they have.
They have. After the match with Jericho, Joe cuts a great promo, asking Rollins if he remembered what it was like when Joe arrived. Joe talked about the sound of the ligaments and joints popping while Rollins pleaded for mercy. Joe said it was just business because he was a designated target by Joe's benefactor, Triple H. Joe said he cares about his clientele, so for what Rollins did to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, payback will not be about business. It'll be very, very personal. So, and then Rollins gets on the table and says that Joe almost cost him his career, and you're damn right, this is personal, and said payback is a bitch. Gee, we were wondering when that line was going to be delivered. Gallows and Anderson backstage. They're supposed to take on the Golden Truth. They're heading to the ring, and all of a sudden we get a Drifter sighting. And I always love it when the Drifter shows up because that makes Graves just go absolutely apeshit. What the fuck is he doing there?
I thought he was just a bum on a street corner looking for change.
And
unfortunately, Gallows and Anderson didn't have any for him, so they just kept walking.
They didn't even know what to think. Golden Truth, we hadn't seen them in a while. Well, there goes that as Strowman beats the shit out of them. And then Jamie Noble and Finlay. And who's Adam Pearce? That's on my notes here, too. Do you know who Adam Pearce is, Matt?
UK indie guy.
Okay. Those guys get Strowman to get off with the Golden Truth. Strowman's in the locker room, and John Cone, foreshadowing of John Cone's demise. He stands next to Strowman and says the GM told him he got the night off. Strowman goes, "I will leave when I want to." I like when they give the referees a little bit of some backstage segments. John Cone's awesome. He's gonna be, and John Cone became a legend by the end of the night, by the way. Gallows and Anderson in the ring, and they wanted to, since the Golden Truth were given the United Airlines treatment, they wanted some more nerds to fight. A lot of people were, I not me, but I didn't even know who to expect in this situation. But a lot of people were thinking DIY was going to debut here or something. I was like, people get their hopes up a lot, but
yeah, I did not expect that at all. I figured it was going to be Enzo and Cass, and I was right on.
Yep, Enzo and Cass take on the Club. I think some people were suspecting it because the Revival's out for 8 weeks, but Club and Enzo and Cass always are a good feud, and these guys went about 10 minutes before Anderson and Gallows get the win. Very solid tag match with those guys. Miz TV, though Miz has been not really treated well so far on Raw, I thought this Miz TV segment with Dean Ambrose was great. What did you guys think of it?
I honestly thought it was the weakest part of Raw Monday.
You didn't like it? I liked it.
Look, I'm saying top to bottom Raw was really good. But if I had to pinpoint one weak segment on the entire show, I thought it was this Miz TV with Dean and Miz.
Oh, I thought it was a great promo. Darryl, what were your thoughts on Miz TV?
I actually enjoyed Miz's promo on it. It was okay for what it was. I mean, I just honestly think it could have been a little better.
Yeah, they.
I think the main issue I have with this right now is the idea of the Superstar shakeup is to move guys from Raw to SmackDown so they can experience new feuds with new people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just two SmackDown Live guys feuding now on Raw, and I'm like, I saw this shit for the last year on SmackDown. Yep. I don't want to continue to see this on Raw. The idea was to match these guys up with new people. That's why you move them. You don't move them and put them together.
I think part of the reason why they did this was the fact that Payback is so close. They wanted to maybe just get this a quick one out of the way where the Miz loses, and you're right. Maybe Joe goes on to feud with Ambrose for the title after that. Oh boy, I'm guessing this was your line that you love here, Matt. Strowman backstage, he knocks down Kalisto and drags him and throws him into the trash, and said, "Roman Reigns is garbage, and so are you."
It was amazing.
Or was it Roman Reigns is trash, and so are you?
I think he said Roman Reigns is garbage, and now so are you, and tossed him into the dumpster.
And then out of nowhere, Big Show with a shoulder tackle knocking Strowman on his ass. Why don't you pick on somebody your own size? I liked this. I liked the random Big Show showing up kind of deal here. I enjoyed that.
Did you see the way that Braun looked at Big Show after he hit him, though?
It's just, God, it's like, it's amazing what you can do when you book somebody right. I mean, Strowman has just been on fire ever since he came to Raw.
I made it my duty when I saw him at Access to meet that dude. And, like, I'm a legitimate 6'2", and that dude towered over me, like, ridiculously. Like, it was scary.
It's just, his star is rising, and it's not slowing down, man. When you tip Roman Reigns over in an ambulance, that'll get you some brownie points. So, T.J. Perkins made his entrance. They showed his heel turn on Austin Aries the week before. He is taking on the gentleman Jack Gallagher. Neville shows up to make a special appearance at ringside, and then Austin Aries shows up and sits down right next to Aries, or to Neville. I thought that was kind of funny. Aries offered Neville a banana, but Neville didn't want it.
Can somebody tell T.J. Perkins it's not cool to dab anymore?
Oh my lord!
It's part of the heel gimmick now. So.
It was never cool to dab. So.
Oh my god.
Anyways, yeah, but you like the heel T.J. Perkins, Darryl?
It has to grow on me. It really does.
Yeah, for some reason he was getting booed by the universe, so it was the right move. I mean, it's just like what they did with Andrade Cien Almas in NXT. You know,
yeah,
turn did him wonders. So hopefully this will do the same.
I'm interested to see if they'll do the same thing for Apollo Crews.
Oh, the Titus brand. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh my god.
T.J. Perkins and Jack Gallagher had a great little 10-minute match, and hey, I love it. Obviously, like you said, Creative may have been listening to Lost in the Midcard when we were bitching about them getting the women's treatment, and all of a sudden, voila! Cruiserweights are getting long matches now on Raw. 10 minutes with Perkins and Gallagher. Very solid match with T.J. Perkins getting over with a detonation kick. Apollo Crews is in the locker room with Akira Tozawa, and Tozawa saying he's excited that Crews is here on Raw when Titus O'Neil shows up and tries to talk Crews into joining the Titus brand. Matt, you want to join the Titus brand?
Fuck no.
I don't get it. It obviously didn't give them a push. Quite the opposite. So, but they're still using it. Okay. Mike Rome interviews Matt and Jeff Hardy. Matt said it's tremendous to be back on Raw. Jeff said words can't describe what it's like to be back in the WWE. Sheamus and Cesaro showed up and welcoming them back to Raw. Sheamus talks about how the Hardys stole the show at WrestleMania 17. Jeff said his ladder match with the Undertaker was a dream match. I believe is what my favorite match of all time, by the way, is Undertaker Jeff Hardy ladder match on Raw. And so they're still playing nice. So it's kind of interesting. We kind of debated on whether or not they would still play nice all the way to the pay-per-view, and so far they are. Fatal 4-Way. The winner gets Bayley at Payback. And this one went about 13 minutes. And a very good Fatal 4-Way, I thought. Matt, what were your thoughts here with the ladies on Raw?
I thought it was solid for the most part. I thought it was a good match. They got a lot of time. I think they're going to save Sasha and Becky for SummerSlam. So I think for now, the right girl won.
Yeah, I think. Do you think a heel turn's still on the table, or after all the smoke is settled?
I still think it's going to happen, but I think there's going to be a slow burn to it. I think when they face off at SummerSlam, Sasha will be a heel.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't see any glaring Nia Jax botches here. Did you, Matt?
Dude, I don't want to talk about Nia Jax. I just don't.
Man. You saw that last week, right, Darryl?
Yeah.
Dropping Charlotte right on her head.
Yeah, I thought she at least had a concussion or something. She smacked that floor pretty hard.
Ugh. Well, Bliss is clearly, God, everybody loves her, and she's done a hell of a job since getting the call up. So she is definitely deserving of the fast track to the championship. So it'll be good to see a Bliss and Bayley match. I'm looking forward to that for Payback here a week from this Sunday. Big Show was interviewed by Charlie Caruso. Show said he's just going to send Strowman a message. Kurt Hawkins did a promo saying that anybody that faces him gets into the main event. As he had mentioned last week, and now Finn Balor makes the answer to the call of Kurt Hawkins inviting someone to face him. And good news for the fact that Finn Balor was cleared to wrestle after taking a forearm by the great almighty number one contender Jinder Mahal. Number one contender, Jinder. That rhymes. Hey, it rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Is it me, or just Finn just seems, I'm not saying not right, but it's just a different Finn or a different feel to me with him.
What do you mean by that?
Just the way he looks in the camera, he's kind of have a cold demeanor. He still, come down the ring and does his thing, but it just seems like a different attitude change. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like
it's just this. I think it's just this cool. I think he's always had that kind of cool Bullet Club like demeanor when he's not in the demon form. I think he's always kind of had that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I would love to see him reform the club with Gallows and Anderson. Yes, please. And trade AJ over there while you're at it. That'd be phenomenal. Nah.
No, it really
I take that back. I take that back. Let's trade the club to Smackdown.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he has a new
should have happened.
He has a new shirt on WWE Shop, by the way.
I like that new little logo of Balor's.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I think I'm going to pick up that shirt. Jericho interviewed by Mike Rome, and we got the old Jericho thinking it was Tom Phillips joke. I mean, seriously, I showed my girlfriend this. I go, here's Tom Phillips. She's like, wow, that does look like, they do look alike. Jericho talks about how he lost to Joe earlier, and there's nothing wrong with that because Joe's a great competitor. Talked about how America deserves the face of Jericho. Frame it in, man. As Jericho does a little Vogue pose. Says at Payback he's going to win the U.S. title and then goes to SmackDown Live. No, sorry, Jericho. You're going on tour with Fozzy in May. He says, it doesn't matter if it's Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, Velocity, or Nitro. The friends of Jericho are always with him. What about Thunder? I mean, you no-sell Thursday Night Thunder? Come on. Then all of a sudden we get another Drifter cameo. And Jericho was going to put him on the list of Jericho. But he told Mike that, or he told Tom that he gets a pass, or he was going to put Mike Rome on the list, and then Drifter walked by and he goes, he's going to put Daffy Drifter Dandy on the list of Jericho. Bray Wyatt cut a promo about the House of Horrors match. Pretty interesting. I'm very curious to see what this is going to come out to be. Hopefully it does not suck. Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke, or should I say Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke backstage. Emma makes up some stuff to make Foxy pissed at Dana. So that, I don't know. I did not get into that segment, Matt. You?
It was short and sweet and to the point, so I didn't care. When the shit doesn't drag out, it doesn't bother me as much.
Do you want a Dana and Emma feud? Or...
Dude, I'll just be happy that there's a feud for the women going on Raw that doesn't involve the fucking championship.
Amen.
Yeah, that's true.
Great match here between Jeff Hardy and Cesaro. Some call it a dream match. I guess you could probably call it a dream match. I mean, Cesaro's definitely got a pedigree of having great matches all throughout his career, and Jeff Hardy as well. I thought Jeff Hardy kind of showed his age a little bit, at some spots. But I mean, dude's gone through so much. There's a lot of miles on those tires. But I thoroughly enjoyed Jeff Hardy and Cesaro. Darryl, did you think the same?
Yeah, that was a hell of a match. I actually enjoyed it. Just thinking about it, Jeff Hardy against, as I call him, Claudio. It was pretty cool. It's one of those matches you just think about just randomly. What if such and such fought such and such? So it was pretty cool.
Jeff, man, he sold some of those moves too, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Matt, were you thinking the nice play was going to be over at the end of the match?
Yeah, they got a couple weeks until Payback. They've got plenty of time to toy with that.
There's only one more Raw till Payback.
Yeah, whatever.
Actually. Heath Slater and Rhino are interviewed by Mike Rome, and Rhino's got his crackers and cheese whiz. And those crackers and cheese whiz hit the floor when Braun Strowman walked by.
I'm glad he didn't beat them up.
Yeah. Well, he had bigger fish to fry because it was time for the main event, Braun Strowman and the Big Show. Matt, once again, they bump at the end aside, these guys did not disappoint again in the main event of Raw, did they?
No, I thought it was just as good as their first match, and it might have been better. These guys work big men magic together, and I don't normally enjoy many big man versus big man matches because they're normally not very good. But there's something about this pairing that just work amazingly well together, and I thought it was an awesome main event. And the finish was, something that people will be talking about for years, if for nothing else, the way the referee bumped out of the ring when it happened. So
John Cone went a flying. Is this the third time they've done that ring spot? I want to think.
Yeah, third time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it before, but
I think it might have been the first time it was done live.
Yeah.
So
we've seen it before, but I thought it was done.
No. The second time was done on a pay-per-view. First time it was taped. Then the second time it was on a pay-per-view, and this time it was on Raw.
That was the second time was the one with Mark Henry, right?
Yep, Mark Henry.
And Big Show?
I think it was Henry Big Show. I think.
I know they feuded for a while. And what was the first one?
Lesnar and Big Show.
That was on SmackDown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was taped.
So, very cool. I mean, we've talked about this on the show. I mean, Big Show worked his ass off to get in the phenomenal shape he's in right now, and he's main evented 2 Raws now. You know, I would almost want to hold Roman out for a while and have these 2 guys go at it again on pay-per-view, because I mean, this had everybody talking at the end of the night, and this would have been a great add to the Payback. But I don't know what to expect with Roman and Strowman. It's 2 guys that Vince likes, so it's weird to probably be a double count out or something, because Vince doesn't want either one of those guys to get pinned.
Well, you know, Braun is not finished with Roman yet.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I would have kind of liked to seen part 3 at Payback with Show and Strowman, but alas, it was still a great moment. Great little send off from the crowd to Big Show. They showed that on WWE's YouTube account as well.
It's a far stretch of that guy getting the "Please Retire" chance 2 years ago.
Oh, you're
I got to think he's got to be feeling pretty good about his, WrestleMania moment aside. I think he's got to be feeling pretty good about what he's done, in terms of being in the ring so far in 2017.
I mean, I think we are. I think it's safe to admit, Matt, that both of us groaned at the Strowman Big Show first match. We were like, "Oh, really? That's closing Raw?" And then we were like, "Wow, that's a fucking great 12-minute match."
Yeah, it was really good. It was
well,
really
the dude he's in tremendous shape, and the one thing I respect about the booking, because with Big Show on his way out the door, and Braun being the next big man to take the reins like that, who else would you learn from than the Big Show? That's perfect.
Yeah. I bet they both talk a lot probably on the road, and Big Show.
You saw on Instagram, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Braun, went out of character and thanked him on Instagram. Said thank you, Big Show. Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh, I did not see that. That's really cool.
Yeah, he's like, thank you. It's like a moment he'll never forget, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Big Show's worked his ass off to get to where he's at today, and Braun is just impressed ever since the chains were off of him. SmackDown Live starts off with Charlotte Flair kicking off the show, and she is bitching about not getting a title match. It's been 7 days. What's taking so long? Naomi's music hits and says she's got a challenge if you want it. And Shane O'Mac then comes out and says that they will face each other, and if Charlotte can win, she will get a title match at next week, right, Matt? Is that
yes,
right?
Next week.
I almost said Backlash, but that's a ways away yet. Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina in Shane's office, wondering why Charlotte gets to jump the line and gets a shot. Fair point.
I wonder how long the line was outside their office after Jinder Mahal won the X-Pac challenge. I bet even James Ellsworth was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? This guy."
Man. Listen, 3MB is taking over the WWE.
They are, man. If Slater and Rhino get tag team title shots now,
they're taking over.
I like Slater. I like Drew. I've never cared for Jinder, and I stand by the fact that dude won his last televised match in September, and now he's the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. That's not the way you fucking book somebody, and it's just fucking garbage.
Did Jinder start in NXT, or was he on the main roster then went to NXT?
He was on the main roster and then went to NXT.
Yeah, and I've just started in order of the old NXTs on the network. I'm only through a couple episodes right now, though. So I'm trying to see in my mind how it fits that Jinder was in the finals of the first NXT Championship.
Yeah, it was him and Seth Rollins in the finals.
Yep. So I'm trying to put that in my mind. Six-pack challenge. Let's rank these guys in the order of who we think are going to win. 6. or one, Sami Zayn.
See, I didn't think Sami was going to win due to the fact that Randy Orton was champion.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I would have put Sami as the last guy that should have taken the fucking pinfall.
In this group, I would say 1, Sami Zayn, 2, Luke Harper, 3, Dolph Ziggler, 4, Eric Rowan, 5, Mojo Rawley, 6, Jinder Mahal. That would be my ranking of those 6 guys to win the match. And number 6 won after 20 minutes with the Cobra Clutch Slam. The Bollywood Boys randomly show up and grab Zayn's foot. And Mahal puts the Cobra Clutch Slam on Zayn for the pin. And Jinder Mahal is the new number 1 contender. And what did I just say, Matt? Jinder Mahal is the new number... What?
Happy Days called. They want their shark jumping moment back.
Ted McGinley didn't show up on SmackDown, did he?
Oh, God. It's just so fucking jumping the shark joke. Fucking bad, dude.
That was an old joke because a lot of people thought Ted McGinley, every time he showed up on a show, it jumped the shark. But then he showed up on Married with Children and it flourished. What in the hell? Jinder Mahal is going to be in a pay-per-view match for the WWE Championship.
Somebody was smoking dope that day.
Are the writers on PEDs too? But it's not performance enhancing. I don't know. I like the Bollywood Boys, but it's just build him up a little more.
I was going to say, if they wanted to do this, the least they could have done is let him beat Mojo last week.
Yeah.
Give the dude a little bit of momentum going into this match. And make it a little more believable that he can actually win. But he jobs the Balor. He comes over to SmackDown the next night, jobs the Mojo, and then the next week he's the fucking number 1 contender for the WWE Championship.
And both of those were like 3-minute matches.
Yeah, exactly. It is some of the most garbage booking that I've seen this company do in a long time. And it's really disappointing. So
Orton came out, congratulated Mahal,
and then treated him like an afterthought. Which
his friends will be in RKO. And Bray Wyatt came on the screen and they cut a promo.
Mahal legitimately just stood there as Orton was like, "Yep, now let's talk about Bray Wyatt." And Mahal stand there like, "Yep, I know I'm not important. Why am I even here?"
Part of me thought last night that, Mahal is not going to make it to Backlash.
You keep saying that, dude. I don't think that's true.
I just think I thought Randy would.
Last night I thought he was going to get punted and be like, "Oh, yep. Guess we're going to have another 6-pack challenge. Might as well put James Ellsworth in this one and see if he wins."
I did tweet that I hoped Randy Orton was coming out to punt Jinder Mahal back to the indie scene. So, unfortunately, that did not happen.
Vignette for the New Day. I like how they're kind of waiting to bring the New Day in, making us anticipate their debut.
Yeah, well, it's being said that they're not going to bring the New Day into SmackDown until Kofi's healthy and ready to go.
Okay,
so
that makes sense too. They showed a video package of Shinsuke Nakamura and how he has a special connection with the crowd. AJ Styles interviewed by Renee Young talks about how he built SmackDown Live. True. Corbin shows up to crash the interview, and that leads to a match between those two to main event SmackDown this week. Charlotte is shown backstage as Tamina and Natalya and Carmella and James Ellsworth stood in her way, and Natalya said they wanted to welcome her to the show, and Charlotte just walks on by. I could have sworn that they were going to interfere in this match with Naomi. Matt, didn't you?
That's certainly what they led you to believe. Now I believe they're going to cost Charlotte the title next week.
Yeah, so maybe the interference is saved.
Since they didn't cost her the ability to compete for the title next week, I feel like it's a lock that they're going to interfere and make this match a no contest. They're just going to lay everybody out.
I hope. I would like to see a Charlotte Natalya feud. I think that would be good.
I do find it a little ridiculous that Tamina is in the group with Carmella and Natty about how dare Charlotte walk in here and just get a title opportunity when Tamina was on the brand about 60 seconds longer than Charlotte was.
Matt, you and your logic.
Yes, I know. Heaven forbid I have some when WWE Creative does not.
Well, hopefully the shit shakes itself out eventually. Primo and Epico, Cologne. Now we got the Cologne name on here. They're no longer the shining shit stars. They are the Colognes. They attacked the Alpha with a sweet powerbomb backstabber last week. So that led to this match against Alpha. It was a real short match, basically to put over the new attitudes of the Colognes. And I guess, Matt, I say better late than never. That we can. I mean, they are two talented wrestlers, and better late than never, right? Even better. Do you feel better now that they got the Cologne name?
I'll feel better once they bring Carlito back.
That would be cool. God, that'd be great. At least they got rid of the fucking brochures, though.
Oh, yeah, well, that entirely takes things a long way.
They showed another great vignette of Lana dancing. Thank you. I wish I was that chair. When is Rusev set to be back from injury, Matt?
He went out for surgery after the Big Show match at Fastlane. I didn't hear how long he was scheduled to be out, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be back soon. I definitely look forward to seeing Rusev on SmackDown.
I just feel like to see him in a,
well, it depends on what they bring him in as. Because rumor right now is he's not even going to be with Lana when he comes in there. Lana's going to be working as a wrestler, and Rusev's going to be a singles act. So I mean, it's gonna depend on what they do with him when they bring him in as a heel or a babyface when they bring him over to SmackDown. But I just feel like the dude got lost in the shuffle on Raw over the past year, and I really feel like he should be able to do some great shit on SmackDown when he's healthy and able to come back. I thought it was a big pickup for SmackDown that they got the handsome one.
Yeah, I mean, we both agree he should be a world champion. So, more than Jinder Mahal.
And Rusev comes back and bitch slaps Jinder Mahal. That's what needs to happen.
Ty Dillinger does an interview backstage with Dasha. And they showed a little a video package of why they call him the Perfect 10. Owens makes his way to the ring, and he faces. He's here for the United States. What did he call it? The Open. It was basically the Open Challenge, but I can't remember what he called it. But how about seeing Kevin Owens' mug on the walkway of the ramp? Where are they going with this thing with Kevin? I mean,
I don't know.
Like it? You hate it?
I feel like Styles is going to beat him for the United States Championship, and Kevin Owens will be pushed right into a title feud with Orton afterwards. Just because I feel like I really truly believe Jinder Mahal is nothing but a placeholder.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that Jinder's not going to beat Orton?
How about that?
It was called the Face of America Open Challenge, so we thought, oh, somebody cool, right? No, a guy by the name of Gary Gandy. I thought it was Gary Candy at first, but no, Gary Gandy. So that was quick. Owens then grabs the microphone and tells the lazy citizens of the U.S. to put the hot dogs down and shut up and listen to him. He says, as long as he is our United States champion, he'll remain the face of America. And Jericho's not going to take it, neither will AJ Styles. Nobody will take it away from me. And there you go. Main event time. AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, and it's a match with AJ Styles, so obviously it's going to be good. But didn't disappoint me. Matt, what were your thoughts on the main event of SmackDown this week?
Oh, I thought it was good. I thought it was booked the right way. I feel like it was one of the few things that was booked the right way on SmackDown Tuesday. You let Styles get the win to build the momentum. Corbin takes the count-out loss, which doesn't hurt him at all. He didn't get pinned. He didn't get submitted. It was some chicanery with Kevin Owens at ringside, which caused everything to happen. I just thought it worked. It worked out exactly how it should have worked out, and Styles should be continued to be pushed strongly going into Backlash with Owens. So
yeah, exactly.
I still think that match is going to close the show.
Yeah, I hope. Well,
it should.
I don't know what. Yeah, Jinder closing the show will probably lead to people leaving the arena. You're right. Darryl, what were your thoughts on SmackDown Live's main event?
Well, like you said, anything with AJ Styles is a great match.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way they ended the match with the count out, and as well as having KO involved in the match, it pretty much helps out everybody. Corbin doesn't look bad for a count out. You see the feud between AJ and KO, and then AJ wins. There you go.
That was a pretty sick bump too that Corbin took with that forearm over the railing there. I thought that was pretty cool.
I still think Corbin should have been in that 6-pack, and I think he should have won.
I actually thought
I think it should have been Corbin and Orton at Backlash.
Yeah, because they had a good match on SmackDown not too long ago.
Yeah, I feel like Corbin's done more than enough to, carry his own weight in the main event scene on SmackDown, and I just feel like that him and Orton would have been a fine main event for Backlash, and instead we have Jinder Mahal.
I thought it was gonna, I heard rumors that Eric Rowan was getting a big push, so I thought maybe he was gonna be the one to win it. And I thought Rowan looked good in this match. I think he's looked pretty good. I think he's
they've kept him strong since he's been back. So
yeah, and
I still wish anybody other than Sami Zayn would have taken that pinfall. Yeah, I feel so bad for him. He finally gets moved over to SmackDown, and he's lost 2 weeks in a row. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I don't care for that at all.
Yeah, it's weird. It was just a weird time, and maybe it's just the writers need to get adjusted from the shakeup. I don't know, but
all I know is Raw was really good and SmackDown really wasn't.
And that's
not something I'm normally saying.
Have we said that? Have we said that at all since the split? I mean, Raw was better.
I feel like
than SmackDown.
I feel like the first time I really said that was like the first episode after the split. That Raw was really good, and SmackDown was really bad. And
that was the only time, right?
Yeah, and I kind of... Well, I mean, SmackDown's had like 1 or 2 downer episodes in between, but nothing that was as bad as this. So hopefully they get back in the groove of things next week, and everything, gets back to the way SmackDown's supposed to be. So
I just can't wrap my head. Darryl, can you wrap your head around how the thought process of Jinder Mahal is number 1 contender? Can you wrap your head around it at all?
Yeah, easy. Raw's creative got drafted to SmackDown.
Vince actually showed up. This guy's got muscle. He's big. Push him. Vince, you've been jobbing him for 8 years. Push him anyway. Well, Darryl, thanks again for joining. You're welcome back anytime. Jump in. We won't be doing a post show for Payback, but maybe for Backlash. Maybe if you're up and around and want to do the post show with us, you're definitely welcome to do that, or join us for any time. But a pay-per-view preview or post show, man, come on.
I'm telling y'all right now, Jinder Mahal is WWE champion after Backlash. We ain't having no pro show. I'm just gonna flat up cancel. I'm gonna flat up cancel.
We have to have one just for the simple fact that we want your reaction.
I honestly, I don't think I can handle that. If you guys have me on the show after that, it'll be a lot of belligerently random.
It'll be an hour and a half of us laughing.
Yeah,
probably.
I might be a little extra drunk just for that.
Oh my God. We'll all have a shot ready.
You'd have to be drunk deal with that.
Well, we'll all have a shot ready and take it at the beginning of the show if that happens.
That'll definitely work for me as well.
Well, thanks for joining us, Darryl. Hopefully we'll have you back here sometime soon.
Always a pleasure.
That's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard and hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, typically every Thursday and most Mondays after WWE pay-per-views. Also, we are subscribable on the YouTube, and the links to all that, go to the notes section of our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Also on the Twitter, at LITMC Podcast. I am on the Twitter at JB Huskers. Matt's on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. And Matt, before we ride off into the sunset, what are your final thoughts?
Down with Jobber Mahal.
And new WWE champion. Click.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're gonna look. If you want to do a post show after that, you're gonna have to find somebody else.
Oh,
I'm telling you right now, I will not. I'm telling the audience right now that if Jinder Mahal wins the WWE Championship at Backlash, I will not be on that post game show. I will not.
I want your immediate reaction when he becomes.
Yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it on Twitter in a profanity-laced tirade. But I am not going. I will not record that night if that happens. I'm not going to do it.
I want to see what the betting sites have for him
Dude,
as odds to
if
win.
Jinder Mahal is winning on the betting sites on Saturday afternoon, we're just going to do a post show for NXT TakeOver Chicago, and we're just going to skip Backlash entirely.
For Darryl, for Matt, this is Jeremy. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We'll catch you next week.